Assalamu alaikum. Inshallah, we'll be showing you how to access your free course. So here we have two courses available. The first thing that needs to be done is we go to Students. Here we need to create a new account. Previous students log in here, and this is a place where to access our courses. So we first of all go to Create New Student Account. Let's do that. Now there are three ways to create an account. The traditional way of putting your name, email and password. You can also do it through Facebook and Google, but you can only choose one of these methods. So we're doing it the normal way, and let's create the account. You'll be taken back to the home page now. Now, how do we know that we're logged in? If we go here to this icon here, we click on it, and here is our details, and then My Courses. And as you'll see, these are the courses at our institute, and you'll notice a lock on them. That's because we have no access to them at this stage. We can also access courses in Course Access. So if you click Course Access, it's the same courses, and it says here, purchase to unlock course. And that signifies that we have no access to them. Now, these are the two courses that are free. These are the course codes they'll be using. And in this demonstration, we're going to be unlocking this course here. So what we do is we go to Purchase to Unlock Course. We're taken to this page where we're given here to pay by PayPal, more payment options. What we'll do is we'll just add this to the cart and then check out. Now, when we check out, we're given this page. This is a payment page, and here it has a price, but we want to get this course for free because it's for free. So what we do is we put the discount code and we apply it. And that goes down to 0. So then what we need to do is just simply put in our address. Let's do it here. And here, notice here it says your order is free. No payment is required. So it's not going to charge anything. You're not putting any credit card details or PayPal details. And then you go complete order. Thank you. And we've just got access now to the course. Now, how do we get access? It's quite simple. This is Access Student Area. This just takes you to the Student Access page. If we go there, and we're still logged in, by the way, we haven't logged out, you notice here, the lock is gone. So if we go inside it, we can now access the course. We can choose which lesson that we want to go through. We have books also to download and the different lessons. There's a progress bar as you progress, and to purchase the other course, go back and do the same process with this and use this code. Now, if you're interested in studying further, then you'll need to purchase the other courses. And we do have lifetime access and 1-year access. So, inshallah, you benefit from these courses, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Okay, now what's interesting about the Qur'an is we can understand meaning of words through the context. One good example of this is in Surah Az-Zumar. فَوَيْلٌ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُم مِّن ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ أُولَئِكَ فِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. So woe to those with hard hearts. Min dhikrillah, from the dhikr of Allah. Ulaika, those are the ones, fi dalalim mubin, they're the ones in plain loss. What does that mean? Min dhikrillah. Min is used for initiation of dhikrillah. An dhikrillah, it means being away from the remembrance of Allah. This is why some scholars actually thought that it would be better to interpret min as an. They said min bima'na an. Now, the problem with this, as you probably already figured out, is this is tahrif. This is changing. It does put a dark stain on the integrity of the Quran, unfortunately. So what we need to do is to understand this ayah. And what's the best way to understand it? Is to read the context. And actually the answer to this is found in the Quran itself. And not just any surah, in the same surah. And this is actually a very, very common theme where you find the interpretation of something in the same surah. And even within the same context. The ayah before, the ayah after. But here it's speaking about فَوَيْلُ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُم مِّن ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ. So woe to those who with hard hearts from min dhikrillah. So why does the dhikr of Allah cause them to get hard-hearted? Why is that? Because for us, Muslims, when we make a dhikr of Allah, we get closer to Allah. But the thing is, not every human being is the same. And we've probably seen it when certain famous atheists, you see that sometimes when you see them answering questions and somebody mentions God, what happens to their face? You see it automatically. It just turns into disgust. You know, how could you believe in such a thing? There's no evidence. Their dhikr of Allah causes them to have an opposite effect. And this is actually captured in the same surah, in Surah Al-Zumar. Allah says, وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ اللَّهُ وَحْدَهُ إِشْمَأَزَّتْ قُلُوبُ الَّذِينَ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِالْآخِرَةِ. Ishma'azzat. This word actually is only found once in the Quran. Their hearts have this verb, ishma'azza. Now, what does ishma'azzat qulub alladhina la yu'minun bil akhirah? What does that mean? It's only found once in the Quran. There's no other place in the Quran that's mentioned. Does that mean we go to classical dictionaries to find the meaning? We don't need to. So then you ask, how can we get the meaning of that? There's only one other word that has the same or verb pattern. And that is itma'anna. Itma'anna ishma'azza. So what does itma'anna mean? It means he became tranquil, at peace, content. Ishma'azza has the opposite meaning, to be agitated, to have some feeling of internal agitation and disgust, not to feel at ease. That's what it means. This happens when Allah alone is mentioned. These people, when Allah alone is mentioned, they have this disgust. And what is the consequence of this? It's mentioned in the ayah I just mentioned. It makes their hearts hard. And then the ayah continues. It says, وَإِذَا ذُكِرَ الَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ إِذَا هُمْ يَسْتَبْشِرُونَ. So when others besides Allah are mentioned, they rejoice. So you see how the Quran interprets the Quran. And actually we ended up getting the meaning of this ayah, فَوَيْلُ لِلْقَاسِيَةِ قُلُوبُهُم مِّن ذِكْرِ اللَّهِ, without the need to change it to an, to just try and make it fit. Now, let's look at these two verbs. They're both on the pattern of if'alalla, which is actually a ruba'i verb. It's a 4 base letter verb. Ishma'azza means he was anxious, disturbed, agitated, as we explained. And itma'anna means he was tranquil, calm, at peace. So these are opposites. And this is how actually the Qur'an works. One of the ways it defines terms is to look at opposites. And there are actually many examples of this in the Qur'an itself. There's something quite remarkable about the Arabic language, is the letters that a word is composed of. So let's look at this. If we look at both of these words, we'll notice that the second and third radical are the same. It's the mim and the hamza. What's different about these verbs is the first and last letter. So we have, for example, in ishma'azza, the sheen. And I've explained in previous lessons that sheen has the meaning of spreading and diversity. Shh. And it's captured in its own sound. The ta, it has this stability and strength to it. So just by using those letters, we understand the difference between these two verbs. Now moving on to the last letter, which is actually repeated. There's actually a shadda on this. So this is why the pattern was if'alalla. It's actually a mazid fihi form of the rubai, of the 4 base letter verbs. And if we look at the last letter, which has been doubled, we notice in ishma'azza, z. The za actually has a vibration sound. Z. While in itma'anna, we have the noon, which has the ghunna sound. And it's a natural, smooth, flowing sound. So you see how the letters actually give it meaning. That's a bit about base letters. وصلى الله سيد محمد وعلى آله وصحبه وسلم والحمد لله رب العالمين. Okay, now we come to Laata. This is not a common particle used. This is discussed in the advanced books. It's actually used once in the Qur'an. And that's the reason why I want to speak about it and how it's actually used in the Qur'an. When you use Laata, actually, both the ism and the khabar are related to a time frame. Now, the best thing to do is just to illustrate this with an example. We have this sentence here. Let's first of all just explain it without this Laata. So let's pretend this is not here. This is for negation, but let's pretend it's not here. So it says al-hinu. Al-hinu means at this present moment or this present time. I'm here sa'a. Sa'a means a moment or an hour, however you like to translate that. So a period of time, a short period of time. So this is the ism and this is the khabar. And there's a mudaf ilayhi to the khabar. This is a dharf. This is a mubtada, but the mubtada indicates a time frame. And sa'a declines. So the reason why it's mansoob here is because of the effect of Laata. If Laata was not there, it would be al-hinu sa'atu sakti. I'll explain what that means. So just bear with me for a second. So sa'a means, let's just call it an hour. Doesn't mean exactly 60 minutes, but an hour. So the hour of silence. Sakt means silence. And al-hinu means at this present moment. So it would be translated as now is not the time or the hour of silence. Meaning you need to speak up. Do something about it. There's actually a few linguistic details related to Laata. It's used to negate the present with intensity. But here I've used hina and sa'a. But you can use other words that indicate a time frame. Now here it says the actual negation is with intensity. Why is this? What scholars say about this is that Laata is la, the normal la of negation, with a ta'u ta'nith. Now, in studies of balagha, you realize that the ta'u ta'nith, the singular ta', the feminine singular, denotes intensity, hyperbole, mubalagha. Whether it's the ta' marbota, which is for isms, and the ta'u ta'nith, a sakina. This is one of the discussions by scholars of linguistics, what they say is that this is sakin as well, the alif here is sakin, and this is sakin, and they do not coexist together. So what happens is, this gets a fatha, becomes Laata, and negation is with intensity. Another point to this is the ism is usually omitted. So here, let's omit this. And this is actually understood. When you use Laata, it denotes the present. And for this reason, it gets omitted. The person could have said, Laata sa'at as-sakti. Now is not the hour of silence. And that will be understood to mean at this present moment. Now, let's get to the Qur'an and see how this word is used. Before getting to the ayah, we have this ayah here. It says, but never did their faith benefit them once they saw our punishment. فَلَمْ يَكُ يَنْفَعُهُمْ إِيمَانُهُمْ لَمَّا رَأَوْا بَأْسَنَا. So here it's describing Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sending his punishment. And when he sent the punishment, the people believed. But he says that this iman, this belief, will not benefit them. It's too late. Now along those lines, we have this ayah in Surah Sa'd. It says, كَمْ أَهْلَكْنَا مِنْ قَبْلِهِمْ مِنْ قَرْنٍ. And how many a generation have we destroyed before them? Meaning that we've destroyed plenty of them. And then it says, فَنَادَوْا. They called out to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to help them at that moment when they realized there was no one else to turn to. But what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say? This is the conjunction wow. This is actually a tajweed rule. That's why there's the shadda there. When it's written normally, there wouldn't be a shadda, but the pronunciation causes it to become a shaddad. Because this wow is not pronounced. So it would be فَنَادَوْا وَلَا تَحِينَ مَنَاصٍ. That's just a point there. So, and then it says after they called out, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala actually says, لَا تَحِينَ مَنَاصٍ. This is actually the khabar. And this is the mudaf ilayhi. So actually, there's actually a ism of Laata that's been omitted, as we said, which we could say is al-heen. So now, at this moment now, is not the time for escape. Manas is a masdar mimi. We spoke about the masdar mimi and what that denotes. It denotes the action of escaping. It denotes a place of escaping and the time of escaping. All those. So it has more meaning than the normal masdar. So at that moment when they called upon Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, Allah negates this with the strongest of negations. At the final moments of these people, before Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala destroyed them. So here the negation was done at the most critical, at the most intensive times for these people. And that's why Laata was used. No other particle of negation would have captured this intensity. So that completes those particles. And inshallah, in the next lesson, we'll finish off the marfu'at. سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel, to like the video, and to turn on notifications.
أو زد عليه ورتل القرآن ترتيلا إنا سنلقي عليك قولا ثقيلا